Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to ServingIntel's ServingIntel Live. Today, we will be talking about our eGuest platform with Lance Bell and Kevin McVeary. Before we get started, though, a couple of housekeeping things to take care of. The webcast is best viewed in full screen. Also, we'll be answering questions throughout today's webcast. So in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, there is a Q&A option. So as we go through different sections of the presentation, you can start asking your questions now or as they come up, and we will get to them as they come up and as we can get them answered. So without further ado, I will now present to you Lance Bell. Lance, take it away.
Thank you, David. Greetings, everybody, and apologies to everybody that jumped on yesterday's supposed or attempted broadcast. We had some fun at World Headquarters when we actually had an employee whose parent had an uncle who got sick with the COVID-19, and kind of akin to the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, we had to go assume that the virus was in the office, and so we had to initiate protocol. And unfortunately, as you think about this, it's unfortunate that it affected us like that. But the employee whom we care for as a family member, your knee jerk, send them to the doctor, get them tested. You can't. So we have a sequestered team member for the next 2 weeks. And being that he's young and healthy, like myself, odds are we won't show any symptoms. So who knows? We're living an exciting time. Joining me today is Kevin McVeary, and the reason why I invited Kevin to participate in this is Kevin has a strong restaurant operations background, hospitality, which I'm not going to steal his slender. He's joining me to act as an active participant and questioner because of a lot of this stuff that is going to be displayed today is brand new and even he hasn't seen it. So he's going to give yet another set of eyes, another perspective to today's meeting. And so, Kevin, let me pull up your bio and introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Lance, and thank you for having me today. Yeah, as you can see on the screen there, I've been in the game for a long time, over 25 years of experience opening and operating restaurants, bars, and nightclubs across the country. Spent the last 18 of those out in Los Angeles, running some pretty big places out in Hollywood and Orange County. Moved it back here to Illinois a couple of years ago to raise my family and found myself working with ServingIntel and happy to be on board, and spent the last year using my experience to bring technology to operators so we can basically use the technology to make you more money is what we focus on. So that's a little bit about my background. I work as a consultant as well, so I have many different clients doing many different things, and everybody's a little panicked right now, but we're here to help as much as we can.
Absolutely. So we're going to start off today with why. Why is an attendee? Why are you here, or why are you watching this after the fact? And then we're going to get into the agenda, and we're going to kick into the content. And so the why we're here today, number one thing, and this has been building, I mean, you could argue back 10 years ago, it's been building to a crescendo. Digital marketing is key for every business, and we serve all hospitality. And so that's restaurants, that's hospitals, that's senior living. They're the three primary verticals that we serve as a hospitality management partner or company. But within that, we do transaction management. You look at our entire platform, the enterprise platform, and it's the equivalent of what's called an ERP platform, enterprise resource procurement or management. And so it's a monster platform. The digital marketing piece of that is what we're going to talk about today. And so why are we doing this? Because it's the most important thing. Actually, from a strategy standpoint, in 2016, we got the feeling we need to stop defending the acronym POS. We've been defending that for 2 decades. And in January of 2017, we made a strategic decision to change our name, our company name, POS Partners Incorporated, to our software name, which we started writing in 2012, ServingIntel. So that's how we did a little flip. We got the hashtag 86 the POS because it's not about point of sale anymore. Point of sale is simply just a screwdriver in the toolbox. And it is the platform, multiple systems communicating with each other. That's the critical piece today. So of the whole enterprise piece, we're only going to focus on what we call eGuest, the digital marketing piece. That's the why, the first why. The second one is, why did we develop this? We've got, of our 25 software engineers, and more than a half of them are dedicated to the digital marketing platform. And so we do a lot of websites, a lot with we're going to talk about APIs today. We're doing more in that world than we've done in the other worlds, moving data around in days past. So our software development team has had a major shift, and we're still today currently involved with recruiting and bringing more web engineers onto our team to help our partners develop and create and manage more websites. It's not just launching. A website is a living, breathing thing. And if you neglect it, just like a teenager, your teenager will end up in jail. There's no jail for websites, but there's a lot of ugly websites out there that should be in jail. So we tried in years past trusting third parties to come alongside us and finger pointing, partial integrations of any integrations whatsoever. We adopted a philosophy while we're still best of breed. We interface to over 100 other companies and systems out there through all of our APIs. When it comes to critical mission critical components like digital marketing, we've just taken the horse by the reins and we're riding this thing to deliver the best solutions for our partners. So we're still best of breed. We still talk and play well in the sandbox. But what you're going to see today, aside from one service provider, is completely us. It's completely ServingIntel, and even that service provider we're going to talk about is managed by us. So if there's a problem with them, it's our problem. It's not your problem. And finally, we made a move with with loyalty. We launched a number of years ago. Let me go pull it up on the screen because I forgot. We launched a web application. I'm going to cheat 2 slides ahead. This was in 2016. That was native to Android and native to Apple. And we started creating other applications, smartphone applications, and working with Apple. Android wasn't bad. Apple was just ugly. Any changes, any updates, took them up to a month to respond to emails, to approve stuff. And so we learned about a new technology called PWAs, Progressive Web Apps. We're going to show you one. We're going to talk about it in depth. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about 5 things, and we're going to have a pretty quick pace on this because there's a lot to cover. We're going to talk about the environment, what's going on right now. We're going to move into APIs. How do these different companies, different systems talk to each other? And then we're going to get into the 3 components of eGuest, eConnect, e-commerce, and finally e-loyalty. We're going to be taking breaks and answering questions as we rip through this. So we've got a lot to cover as we go through today. So that's the agenda. That's the why. We're going to start with environment. Kevin, you work with people day in and day out, virtual restaurant scene, a lot's going on. Share a little bit about what you're seeing in the marketplace.
Thanks, Lance. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people are trying to obviously maximize the revenue, which is what the name of the game is, right? So you have X number of seats in your dining room. Well, a lot of people have moved to the virtual world where they can have 3 times as many seats outside of that dining room. So if their kitchen is able to stay up with that capacity, they're able to control the flow in and out without having to worry about table turns and getting people in and out of the restaurant. I have multiple clients that are actually running virtual restaurants that are basically a ghost in their own restaurant. I've got a Brazilian steakhouse, which if you're familiar with the all-you-can-eat Brazilian style of dining, that's $40 to $50 a head, that works great at dinner, doesn't work so easily at lunch. And, they were finding that, okay, well, how do we offer this? We have all the food here. How do we offer it in a way that is more digestible to people that are on a budget or don't want to spend $50 on lunch or dinner out during the week? So they've moved into operating a la carte menu, completely separate concept, different name and everything from the restaurant that they're running. No sign on the building. Nobody has any idea that this is the location where their a la carte business is coming out of, but they're on Uber Eats, they're on DoorDash, they're on Grubhub, and they're pushing out this virtual menu to all these clients who are eating the same great food, but in a $12 to $15 to $18 price point, depending on the level of the steak or whatever you want to get. But it's not all you can eat. Obviously, you're not delivering all you can eat to people. So they're seeing a large insurgence in that, and because the kitchen is already trained to prepare that food, whether it's for the gauchos going out and cutting it at the table, or somebody slicing up some of the meat or preparing it for you and putting it in a box for the Uber Eats driver to come and grab. They're seeing incremental increases in their revenue by doing that. So again, you're able to cross promote, sell more protein. You've got less waste in your kitchen. Your staff is staying busier, which for those of us who run restaurants, you know, the busy times are not always the hardest times. It's the slower times when everybody is standing around going, what do I clean now? What do I do now? Time goes much faster for your staff. Your staff is happier when they're busy and feel that they've accomplished something throughout the day. So I've seen this with multiple different clients of mine who are doing, whether it's, you know, the Brazilian all you can eat that's also doing a Brazilian a la carte, or somebody who's doing something completely different. We've got a client, you know, downtown that's a bar and grill that opened up a ghost sushi restaurant. Well, nobody knows that that's a sushi restaurant that's operating out of this bar and grill, but you have that capacity to do that when you take it virtually online.
Absolutely, and that first partner was actually we'll throw a shout out. That's the Madison Bar and Grill downtown Chicago. That partner was our first eConnect partner as well, and so they've been an eConnect partner for a couple of years now. And that's the way these solutions, as you look at the slide here, it's the way these solutions have come to pass. We started off with e-commerce because couldn't find third party. We developed it ourselves. That's where we really started near 6 years ago. Then we got into the mobile applications. Then this virtual restaurant thing just started popping up everywhere. We've got another partner I can think of up in Milwaukee, another shout out, Chubby's Cheesesteaks. I believe I have 7 locations and they have 6 concepts per building. And so, yeah, you get cheesesteaks, but you can also get hot dogs through another website concept, hamburgers. And so what we encourage operators, and this is all operators, is look at your kitchen as a production facility. You've got manpower, you've got equipment, you've got utilities, and your job is to have as much quality food flowing through that window in a seamless manner as possible. And so in senior living, Arizona passed a law a couple of years ago that I thought was amazing. If you have a liquor license, your senior living community must serve the general public. And we have a lot of communities around the country that their dining rooms are open to the general public. Not today, but they were 3 weeks ago. And so these concepts like loyalty, if you've got the capacity, or better, if your residents are demanding that Grubhub is allowed to deliver food all the way to the apartment door, we've got the solution to automate that so that you don't have team members on the phone manually writing down orders. That's just a recipe for disaster. In fact, eliminating manual everything is the purpose of this software. So again, timeline, websites, mobile applications, the loyalty piece, we'll talk a little bit about VIP, all comes together into one solution that we call eGuest. And instead of showing you a boring network map, we've created some awesome videos that are on our YouTube site, and each one of them is not a minute long. We're going to give you the overview on first what eGuest is. We're going to do it in video presentation style. And everything's going to run just a touch slow because I'm taxing my laptop today with everything I got running. Here's a short video on eGuest.
Operating a successful restaurant has never been more difficult. Nowadays, it takes more than great food and service to stand out. And technology has never been more critical. Your customers are tech savvy and they expect the same of you. Does your restaurant meet their expectations? If not, ServingIntel has the platform for you. ServingIntel's eGuest is a managed marketing platform that controls your website, complete with online ordering, seamlessly integrates third-party ordering, and manages your guest loyalty programs. Imagine increasing revenue with eLoyalty by recognizing and rewarding your loyal customers, expanding web sales through e-commerce via your own fully integrated and modern website, integrating third-party online ordering through eConnect by capturing incoming orders and printing them straight to your kitchen. If you're ready to start realizing the full earning potential of ServingIntel's eGuest, visit our website at servingintel.com or just give us a call today at 1-888-477-7711.
Awesome job, marketing team. And so stop that right there. Go back to it. And so all 3 components are what are displayed here in this video. And so what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the first one. But as we do that, I want to explain a very simple concept that we call APIs. Now, actually, that's a technical term, API. So API is Application Programming Interface. And when I'm talking with operators about APIs, what we're talking about is how data moves back and forth between two systems. I always come to a baseball analogy, even though I'm not a sports guy. This is the easiest way to explain it, is that you have a picture and that's the application. That's the software program that's on the internet. All this is data flowing through the internet. And what you have is you have the baseball, which represents the data, and the application pitches the data to the API. So the API in this scenario is the catcher. And so what happens in this process is there's a password, there's a token, this is all encrypted and very secure, and it's back and forth. But basically you have get commands and you have post commands. I am sending a request to get data. So here's a request to give me data back, or here's data, I need you to post it to the database. Very simple process. And so in this process, the way eConnect came to pass, our very first solution, is that we worked with a service provider who I'd mentioned earlier called Chally. We have a very unique relationship with Chally than anybody else in the world. Chally manages the over 150 third-party ordering systems that are out there. It's called TOOS, also referred to as TOOS. This is Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Dine Now. There's a gazillion of them. Some of them are international, some of them are regional, and some of them are local. Here in Chicago, one popped up called Second Kitchen. And so their job as our service provider is to map the data. So the data goes to Grubhub, to Chally servers, which happen to be located in downtown Chicago. They're all formatted for our API. And then so that information comes to us as an order where we see all of the detail. What's the source? It's an Uber Eats order. Uber Eats is obviously delivery only, but a lot of these third parties, it's delivery or pickup. So which service type does this particular customer want? So all of this data has a lot, does the order come in with payment? Yes or no? Some of our partners want to collect at the door on delivery. And so all of these variables are handled by us. And I'm going to start off by, we're going to zoom in right now, and I'm going to nail it with same thing, a short video specifically on eConnect.
Are you a restaurant?
Pull this up. Actually, let me make sure I got this bad boy popping. There we go. I'm going to have to throw this laptop away once I'm done burning it up for the next hour. I can smell the smoke coming out of it right now. eConnect.
Tour that has jumped into the online delivery service craze, only to find yourself struggling with multiple devices and incorrectly entered orders? Not to mention the fees you're paying just to have each service. You're probably wondering if it's worth the headache. Then ServingIntel has your solution. ServingIntel's eConnect streamlines the process by connecting online delivery services directly to your kitchen. Imagine no more devices, no more employee errors, no extra labor. A customer orders from the comfort of their own home using their favorite delivery service. When they hit submit, bang, their order hits your system and goes directly to your kitchen. Everything is completely automated. You just bag it up, send it out, and collect the profits. So, if you're ready to start realizing the full earning potential of ServingIntel's eConnect, visit our website.
And you already know the number. So, so that was a great overview on exactly what we've got going on here in the solution. Chally manages all of the chaos, and there is a ton of chaos. We get emails. We're sorry, Grubhub was down for an hour and 15 minutes this morning. There's all kinds of things going on with these guys all of the time. So Chally herds the cats. Our partners never have to worry about Chally in their world. So you have the project manager dedicated to your account, you have a relationship manager dedicated to your account, and basically you just create a service ticket if you have any questions, needs, and we get them. Items not mapped correctly, names wrong, because you got to think about this. If you're a business who has your menu at Grubhub, there's no uplink of your current database to Grubhub. Somebody's got to go on there and type in cheeseburger $7.95 and hamburger $6.95. And part of the service offering is we look at the two sets of data and we confirm everything that you want to sell is accurate. If the prices are supposed to be the same, that the prices are the same. But if this is what happens in the real world, a manager goes in and that manager types in spaghetti with meatballs and doesn't tell the service provider. So a weird item hits Charlie, that weird item comes to us. We have to send out an email and communicate with the staff that we have a problem. And so the service offering and all of this is we take care of that for you. Now I want to show you what exactly that looks like, because this is the API. So I'm in one of our servers right now, one of our POS machines, and the program that we wrote, the API is called POS Cloud Sync, and the API user interface, I apologize for all the non-technical people out there, we simply call it toolkits. Now your relationship manager goes through and sets all this up with you and helps you as far as making any adjustments. But each one of these basically represents how we control the data flow from any third-party website. So it's third-party service providers, your e-commerce website, doesn't matter who the third party is. If the data is thrown, it's posted to our API and it comes through. And some of the questions or issues, opportunities that we have, is printers. We can use the same printer schema that you currently have right now in your business for the kitchen, or we can have a dedicated one, or we can change the reroutes and we can do something totally different. So different partners need different things. And this is one of the opportunities we have to customize the solution for you. This also interfaces into kitchen display systems. We get that all the time. Specifically QSR Automations, our partner. We did a webcast a couple of weeks ago on this. And a roadmap item, something that's coming in the very near future, is our ability on the cloud to see how well your kitchen is performing and throttle e-commerce times based on how well you're performing. Again, think of your kitchen like a manufacturing environment. If it's Friday night and you've got the C team working, and I can remember many nightmare nights at Ruby Tuesdays back in the early 90s, right? It was a Friday night and I had the C team and you just kind of know you're going to get your backside handed to you. When that's happening, you certainly don't want to add 100 takeout orders on top of your C team. You'll melt down. So we're moving into a dynamic scenario where we're watching your ticket times and we're going to be able to adjust pickup and delivery times according to how well you're producing. We call this dynamic throttling. And so that's a this summer feature that's coming soon. But of course, you have to have QSR automations. You have to have the kitchen display system in place for us to be able to tap in to the API and get that data for you. So routing of the items to a kitchen display screen or a printer, the order types, every different which way that an order can come in, we have to think about your business rules and how we're going to map this for you. We've got pizza restaurants that have a dispatch person and they have their own delivery drivers. And so the order comes in and it has the payment, but we have to keep it open. Normally, an order that comes in with payment, we have it closed. It's a done order. That happens most of the time. But in certain scenarios, we have to have it open because somebody's going to handle that. They're going to take their guest check, assign it to a driver. The driver is going to deliver the food using their Google Map interface. He's going to come back into the business and close out the check on the backside of the transaction. And so all of this is your business rules and your report settings that come together in order to have this happen. Now we're into the actual third party. This is the two third party online ordering systems. And so we go in and turn on every single one. Here you see a partner that's got 9, and we have to put them in an index. We map them to a revenue center. And then another new feature that we have is status check is, do we leave it open or do we have it be closed? The one I explained a minute ago. But loyalty, do you want to give loyalty credit to customers on third-party online ordering sites? That's a new request. We initially didn't want to do it because your lowest cost of transaction is your own website. You have to pay Uber Eats and pay DoorDash, all those, their percentage. but we have some partners that do not and will not deliver. And so we have a partner today that is paying DoorDash 5%. They got a super special deal. The revenue share is only 5%. And they also have Uber Eats at 28%. And so they give loyalty credit to the people that get delivery with DoorDash, and you don't if you're with Uber Eats. So we have ways to control and manipulate the loyalty settings based on the source of the incoming orders, and then filtering by departments. We get department maps. How do you want your departments to be set up? The payment types. You know, we're past the days, even though you can see it here on the screen, we're really past the days because of EMV of caring whether it was a Visa, a MasterCard, a Discover. The card types are gone. We're more towards, was it an EMV transaction in-house? Was it an online order? And of course, all the stuff that's online requires an online merchant identification number. You have one for brick and mortar, and you have one for online. So a lot gets put into this and set up, and we go through here and build the whole thing for you. We got a neat little program that we put in here called Test Order, where they can go in and actually simulate this, pulling actual items out of the database. I can go through and simulate a test order, and while on site, hit the submit button down here, and it prints in the kitchen and does everything as if it were a real order.
Hey, Lance, can
Please.
I jump in there? I got a question from our crowd here. Came in as anonymous, so I guess they're hiding. Would the ticket that comes into the kitchen display, that it's from an outside source, display the source? So in other words, would they know on their KDS that this came in from Uber Eats or DoorDash, or would it just come in as, hey, here's a to-go order that has to be made?
Yeah, the source is actually listed on there because most of our partners have multiple third parties. And there are times when there's a question that comes back. We have issues probably more with Uber Eats on item mapping than anybody else. So if an item comes through unmapped, we have to know what source it is. So the customer will send us an email that creates a service ticket that says Uber Eats, it says hamburger, and it needs to say cheeseburger. And then we communicate back with the service partner, get that fixed for the partner. So there's a data flow. This is a live breathing system that from time to time needs to be touched. These are all minor things, tweaks, if you will, to the system. The more you change your menu, the more tweaks that you have. But yeah, on every single ticket, whether it's on paper, kitchen chit, or whether it's on the screen through the QSR, either way, you're going to see where it came from. You're going to see its business type. Is this pickup, takeout, delivery, whatever business rules you have. And it's going to give you everything you need to be successful on that ticket, including special instructions that come in from the customers.
Great. So with my operator hat on, let me ask another question. So the conversation going back the other way, when I 86 that I've sold out a prime rib on a Friday night, am I still getting orders from DoorDash that's selling my prime rib, or is the point of sale communicating with those third parties to let them know this is not an item we're selling now?
Great question. As I mentioned earlier, there is no backwards compatibility on data flow at this point in time, and that is the case. With your e-commerce website, we have a link that does item quantity. And so we can stop somebody from ordering something that no longer exists on your own e-commerce website. But when you're talking about the restaurant to us, to Chally, to Uber Eats, there is no data flow backwards that allows us to 86 that item. Now, the expectation is the restaurant manager is going to go to Uber Eats, is going to take that item and take it off, or mark it is no longer available for sale. That's something, it's out of our control. We'd love to have that control. And there's a big battle right now with all of the third-party ordering sites. A few of them went public. They're fighting for market share. Today, thanks to COVID-19, they're giving away all service fees are waived right now for almost all of the partners. So there's never been a better time to engage because the cost of the revenue share today is zero. Waiving setup fees too. That's another good reason to jump in today and get it going. But no backwards compatibility. You need to jump online real fast and mark those items unavailable through the admin portal for each website you're online with.
So all the more reason that the restaurant operator wants to have their own e-commerce site, and maybe they're offering their entire menu and some of those that are more item limited. So like a fresh fish or something that we only got 10 pounds in today, and when it's gone, it's gone. Maybe they're not putting that on Uber Eats or DoorDash, but they're pushing it on their e-commerce site because they have that connectivity back and forth to 86 it on the point of sale and have it come off a line, right?
That's correct. I mean, that's really where you talk about the full integration. This is really where you get it, is on the e-commerce side of it. And since we're transitioning right now over to e-commerce, let's go ahead and nail that one.
Technology has created more opportunities for restaurants to expand takeout and delivery offerings than ever before. Is your restaurant struggling to manage online options, most of which aren't even integrated into your system? Still just taking phoned-in orders? If chaos is your middle name, we have your solution. ServingIntel's e-commerce platform amazes customers with an attractive, modern website that generates additional revenue for your restaurant. Imagine expanding your brand to a greater number of guests and more cash flowing to your bottom line. A customer browses your website, orders from the menu, and bang, the order hits your system and prints straight to your kitchen. It's completely automated. All that's left is to bag the food and have it ready for pickup or delivery. Now is the time to start realizing the full earning potential of ServingIntel's e-commerce. Visit our website at servingintel.com.
And you know the website and phone number. So this really is what we love about this solution. It is absolutely fully and completely integrated. And I want to give another shout out to one of my favorite partners, and we're going to pull up their screen. This is District Poorhouse in Kansas City, Missouri. And when we build a website, we're not building just an online. We're not building a piece. We actually take, if you have an existing website, we take everything you have today and we copy it into what's called a new template. We use a content management system called Joomla. It's a very high-end, professional, business-to-business oriented content management system. And we help you manage the entire thing, not just the online ordering. I'm seeing this message. This was a special request that popped up for last week, as partners around the United States lost the ability to use their dining room, where they're totally relying on this technology that we're talking about. They changed their hours of operation. Most of our partners cut out lunch and they're focusing on the dinner time hours, which I think that's where your money's at, is at dinner. I think it's a great way to do this. So special messages popping up that are alerting people to the change. And then as you get into this, what you're going to see high-end graphics. You're going to see carousels. You're going to see dynamic. And you're watching this. So go to districtpoorhousekc.com if you want to see this yourself on your own device after the web conference. But you're going to see a gorgeous layout. And with the Joomla CMS, we have the ability to put in what's called extensions. So we can add things like job openings, so a job board, and so lots of different things. And in fact, we've got a ton of stuff here: events, different revenue center breakouts, contacts, reservations link. This is a widget for Open Table, and then get over here to ordering. And so one of my favorite sites. And so when we're talking about this, what have you seen, Kevin, as far as website needs? What are your prospects and what are your partners asking for as far as website management and website needs?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of the partners that I work with have had a website designed 10, 12 years ago when they opened and then forgot about it. So when you go and pull it up, you're like, wow, this is the face that you're putting out to all these new people who are coming to check you out, because we know nowadays everybody's searching to see the restaurants they want to go to, and it's popping up and it's populating, and you're seeing, here's their website. And if you look at a clunky old website that doesn't have any pictures, people eat with their eyes. So they want to see the food, they want to experience the ambiance to say, hey, this is a place that I want to go and be. And if you've got old pictures or not relative information up there, it always drives me nuts when they're posting about 2018 New Year's Eve tickets still available. It's like, really? But the operators that I deal with, they're so in the weeds that they don't have time to touch all these different points. It's like, yeah, when we were opening up, I had time to show somebody what I wanted and they got it done. But then I haven't had a chance to do that since. And that's why we come along and say, listen, let us be your technology partner. Let us take all this off your plate. Wouldn't it be great if on a monthly basis, someone emailed you, hey, here's the specials we're looking at for next month. Is this still on plan with what you want to do? Anything else you want to change? What are your thoughts on Mother's Day? How does St. Patty's Day work for you? And having someone who's taking that off your plate, where you can be out in the dining room touching the tables and talking to your customers, as opposed to in the office trying to figure out how do I update my Wix.com website address to show that I'm closed for the next 3 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today,
I think that's what you see more than anything, and not only ugly websites that are out there, and now people are going to those ugly websites. The other thing, going back to eConnect, is you walk in and the hostess stand has 12 tablets, a tablet for every single third party to interface to, and then you're paying somebody to manually take that tablet and put in the order into the point of sale system. Of course, that hostess that you're paying $8 or $10 an hour to makes mistakes because he or she's in a hurry. The wrong food goes out to the delivery or the pickup, and you create a manual disaster. So eliminating.
The worst part, the customer who's walking in, here's the host who's the first impression of your restaurant, and instead of engaging them and saying, welcome to our beautiful restaurant, they've got their face in a screen, and we know that if we give somebody a screen, they're much rather be in that screen than engaging with the customer who's right in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm sharing with you now, this is how you control this, is kind of alluding to this. This is how you control both the point of sale and your own e-commerce site. And so I'm into one of our partners that's a Mexican restaurant in the suburbs of Chicago, and I'm going to go into their menu items. There's a tab for e-commerce and the e-commerce control, and then there's there's actually several tabs that manage the point of sale. And so if I were to come in here and be in a Mexican restaurant, I'm sure they've got tacos. So you just do a quick search. It shows me every item that has the word taco in it. We've got a steak taco. That sounds like a good one. Click the pencil, and then it brings you right into that, what I call item card, or where you actually manage that thing. And so in here, general pricing, this is the default price that comes across. And then on the e-commerce tab, this is where you can have a different name called web item name. You have a different display. You can upload a picture. You can have a different price. And in the case of enterprise, Dave only has one restaurant, so we're only seeing his one restaurant. But he's able to go in here, add anything he wants to. And this is responsive. This is a critical key that I haven't mentioned yet. This doesn't matter. Dave does this on his phone. He could be lying in bed in the morning and go, oh yeah, I forgot to add a tilapia taco. That doesn't sound good. But I forgot to add it to the database. And he could do this right on his phone, right from the comfort of his own bed and his home Wi-Fi. And so it's super easy to be able to control everything that's happening with your current items in your point of sale, the way your modifiers are laid out in your point of sale, advanced options, availability for sale. And of course, that's where you get into is it available now in the POS? That's here under advanced. And then under e-commerce, that's where we have the top two. Do we want to display it? But until I check available for sale and hit save item, that item does not show up. It shows up on the website, but there's no add to guest check button so that you can put it on a guest check. We have partners like we have a bakery that wants to display all other items available year round, but only have those items available now have a go or put on check button. That's something.
And so the printing on the functionality there is nice. You can change it from how many times do we go home on a Friday night and we put a new special in and the burger is printing in the salad station and the salad person keeps saying having to run all the tickets for that special burger over to the grill. To be able to flip-flop that real quick from your phone and change where that is being printed in the kitchen gives great functionality as well.
Absolutely. And we are controlling the e-commerce website for David, both the point of sale system and the e-commerce website. Here's his special message that ordering is only available from 3 until 8 o'clock during the week that I'd mentioned earlier. So it seems like everybody that we take care of has a special message. And just to show you a little bit about the business rules, because it's the flow that really is our value added. Different businesses have different needs and how this works. In the senior living world, we focus on online ordering for the 85-year-old resident. It's got giant buttons. We don't worry about pictures. It closes out to your meal plan. And so it's a very simple order flow. You get to a pizza restaurant and you have the opposite. You have a lot of complexities, a lot of different things that are happening and going on. And so the control through the cloud is what allows you to go through here. And when you get this, you can see we have big, high quality pictures that are showing the modifier screens, the way things appear and disappear based on the order type. All of this is all controlled through the cloud account.
Great. I have another question here from the board, Lance, if I can jump in there.
Please.
So Vicky is asking, if I have a website already that I like, can you integrate the e-commerce to it? CMS is WordPress. You touched on this briefly.
Yeah, it's a copy paste. In days past, we had people that would come to us and say, my brother-in-law built me a website and I really love it. My brother-in-law would be upset. The Christmas would be really ugly if I got rid of my brother-in-law's website. So in days past, we tried to use, here's what ended up happening. The brother-in-law's website never looked as good as the e-commerce site. And we didn't want to, lower our standards to meet the brother-in-law's standards. And so you end up with this Siamese twin looking kid thing that ends up dying. And so what we found is a lot of people specialize in engineering or graphic arts, rarely both. And if somebody has built you a visually stunning website that you love, copy paste, not a problem. But we want to leave the WordPress world, which I refer to, that's where people do blogs and vlogs and posts. We want to move up to the CMS of Joomla, copy it all over, make it look, in almost every case, it looks more gorgeous than it did before. Graphics are everything. But we'll take it all, put it all in a single template, and then everything's here to manage. We do have partners that are tech savvy, and they want to control, and actually get into Joomla. We can give you credentials, and if you want to know Joomla and get into it, there's a million YouTube videos on how to do stuff in Joomla. It's an open source product. And so with the username and password, you can get into your own site. You can go in and do amazing things yourself if that's your desire. The vast majority of our senior living operators, hospital and restaurant want to run their business and not become a Joomla web programmer. So, part of our service offering is we give you 2 hours of service included in the fees, and that no extra charge. Because again, your site is a living, breathing thing. And so you're going to have needs. Hey, switch the Happy St. Patrick's Day to, I don't know, it's got Happy Easter. There you go. Switch St. Patrick's to Easter, and let's put some Easter eggs on the front. And people send us graphics. We create, as a part of the service, a special guest account in our Microsoft Teams environment. And so the restaurant or senior living operator, they're tied into this from an email flow, from a SharePoint, a directory with folders where you drop your pictures, you send us content. So we provide you an environment. Our job is to make this as easy as possible for you, the operator, to tell us what to do for your site, to make it grow and live and prosper. We even have an add-on to this where we'll set up all your social media channels. And we don't do social media content, but we can manage all your channels from a replying standpoint. For one of our partners, we do their Facebook advertising for them, strategies, post ad initiatives, calculating ROI on the backside. So there's a lot that we do for folks that go above and beyond what we're just talking about right here. But this is an example. You see appetizers on the screen. This is a left to right vertical carousel. Some of our partners want an up and down carousel. Again, everything staggers based on what's on the particular screen. And then let me grab something that has, I'm going to guess a chili relleno has, I can't roll my R, I'm not going to nail that one. Here you go, here's some modifiers. And so we've got on the sides, items on the sides, these would be mods that are priced or non-priced. And of course, tortilla type, what type would you like, half and half, flour or corn. And so all the items come through here with everything you need in order to accurately put that on my item onto the guest check and then pay it out. As far as, we can go ahead and pop this on, those aren't required. You got the little indicator up here for your guest check. I haven't picked a pickup type yet or a date, so it'll make me do that once I go into ready to pay. And this is where we really drill into the business rules. We use cookies. And so if I've ordered on the site before, it's going to recognize me by name, and it's going to fill in my address, my email. It's going to fill in everything automatically. This is where I can go in and change the service pickup time. I don't want it today. I want it tomorrow. I want it at 4 p.m. I hit done. There's the information. Then you just pop right into what you need in order to place that order and get it done along with the credit card.
Excellent. And because it's a progressive web app, when I pull that up on my phone, it knows that I'm on a phone, right? So it sizes to the size of my screen and I can actually read it as opposed to zooming in and out.
That's the most critical thing, is to never, ever, ever see a left or right scroll bar when you're on anybody's website. And it doesn't even matter. I mean, we're talking about the main website. You can see here the menu changed. I get a left-oriented menu. But if I step back here, back to the main website, every single page should adjust its resolution and size to fit your screen. And I'm not talking about getting smaller. These are big, fresh, and tasty food. We're talking about reorganizing the items on that web page so they show vertically the way that they should. So you get a stunning presentation and user experience.
Excellent. Well, let me jump to the question board. We got a few rolling in here. So Aaron is asking, what SEO solutions are there?
Oh, wow, a ton. We set up, as a base, we set up Google Analytics. And Google Analytics has the world. And with that, we have the ability to send your reports automatically based on what you want to see. We're usually doing a 30 or 60-day rolling. And if your website's been up for more than a year, then we're doing comparative analysis on traffic this last 30 days to last year's 30 days. So there's a lot of core information that you get from an analytics standpoint. And then if you go to Joomla.org, and you'll see the extensions, you type in SEO, I'm just going to guess hundreds of different, like one of our personal favorites is another Google product called Google Tag Manager. And that's a piece, I believe it's $50 a year to add that extension in, but that ties into e-commerce where you've got picture tags, item tags, just all of this data that the Google web crawlers are looking for. So if somebody types in, I believe Aaron is in Washington State. So if somebody types in Buffalo Wings, Gig Harbor, Washington, you're the first thing that they see. And Google Business and Bing Business plug into this so that if they're searching for entertainment, you don't happen to show up what we say above the fold in the first 3 or 4 items, depending on how many ads there are. We definitely want you on the right-hand side of the page on the map page where you got a red flag and they're able to click and see your business. A lot of times we're happier being placed on the map section than we are worried about the text listening. People are wanting things that are interactive. And we have an SEO expert on the line. David Morris, are there any other SEO things that throw out there that we've used?
One of my personal favorites is one we've been using in the last 6 months called Google Structured Data. And that's page by page instructions to Google on what information they're pulling. And we've been seeing incremental success with that over the last 4 months. I believe we've been using it.
Excellent.
Excellent. Got another question here from Anonymous. Since you're offering free installation setup, I would imagine there's a monthly fee to administer support this service. What's the cost?
For our partners, for the time frame, for as long as your dining room is closed, the cost is nothing for installation and setup, and the cost is nothing for the service. That's us going above and beyond for our partners. When it comes to your dining room is back up and operating, your business is fully functional, there are two variables to this. So all of the pieces, when added together, for all of the time that you get, service and hosting, it's $350 per month. And then for the incoming e-commerce transactions, it's $1.95 a transaction. And that $1.95, what's kind of cool about it, is it can be paid for 100% by the restaurant, or the restaurant can pass it as a service or convenient fee onto the customers using the system, or you can split it in half and do $1 and $1. Or, we got some greedy people out there, they charge more than $1.95, they charge $2.50, and they're actually making money on the service convenience fee. Most of the third-party sites out there take a portion, they add a service fee to the transactions for, I'm going to do the Uber Eats and the Grubhub scenarios. And so service fees are a part of the world. They're a part of our world. We're looking for our desire is to help our partners not just turn this on and use it, but for it to grow. Our web team looks at the Google Analytic reports for all of the websites and web assets that we manage, and we want them to go higher. So that $1.95 per transaction, that's our product, our profit motive to help you be successful. And when you talk about flow through dollars, wow, yeah, we've said this in past seminars on our YouTube channel. Watch the internal marketing and the external marketing if you haven't seen them already. But flow through dollars, you have a profitable business, you've got capability in your kitchen to put out one more to go order in any different time frame, and how much money on a $100 to go order goes to the bottom line. Kevin McVeary, as a restaurant operator, if your restaurant, Kevin's Pub, gets one more $100 order, explain how it's not my restaurant's only making 5%. How can I give away 20%? Explain flow through dollars.
So you have a capacity where you have certain number of employees it takes to open your doors. You can't open your kitchen with no cooks, right? You can put 1 or 2 or 3 cooks on that line. Now those 3 cooks can cook anywhere from $0 to maybe $2,000 or $3,000 worth of food. You can add another $500 or $1,000 on there without having to add labor dollars. You know, your rent's the same, your utilities are the same. So those are all fixed. So what you're trying to do is maximize that end side. You want to push that manufacturing point, like Lance talked about, as fast as you can and as hard as you can without obviously breaking it. But the capacity is there for all the additional $1,000 or $100, as you said, in sales. If you're running where you should be in the 25 to 30% cost of goods range, you know, that's costing you $30 for that $100 in additional sales, because you're not paying the fry cook extra, you're not paying the grill cook extra to make that an extra $100 worth of orders. They're already working for you, right? And if it's integrated directly, you're not tying up the host, you're not tying up a server. I know my servers never wanted to answer the phone when it was ringing for a to-go order because they knew they weren't going to get a good tip on it, and it took them off the floor from where they wanted to be with the customers. So if the technology is pumping it through into the point of sale, into the kitchen, into the guys who are back there jamming and making the food as fast as they can anyway, it's 70-80% profit on that extra $100.
It's huge. Absolutely.
Yeah. My producer's telling me we're 55 minutes in, Lance, just to let you know.
Excellent. Well, we've got the last video here. So let me go ahead and let's show eLoyalty. This is a smartphone application, and we'll talk about PWA here.
Diners have more eating options than ever before. How do you stand out in such a crowded marketplace? Did you know that 80% of your profits come from the 20% of guests that are your loyal followers? Are you recognizing and rewarding these guests? If not, then ServingIntel has the solution for you. ServingIntel's eLoyalty is a dynamic, mobile-friendly web application that rewards your loyal guests every time they frequent your restaurant. Imagine a multifunctional app that lets you accept payments at the table as well as delivery and pickup orders. Easy sign up from any device. The ability to reach your guests with unique push notifications, offers, and events, all while you gain valuable information and business insights from your loyal guests' activities. If you're ready to start realizing the full earning potential of ServingIntel's eLoyalty, visit our website at ServingIntel.com or give us a call.
Excellent. And so this plays into the PWA, is Progressive Web Application. This plays into what we were talking about earlier with responsiveness. We actually have the ability, when somebody goes to your main website, to take that and transfer them to a different type of website. And so for the sake of time, I'm just going to show a few things through my camera. And basically what I have, see here on the corner of my screen, this is an Android Note 8. You can see here on the corner of the screen, I actually have El Puente saved to my home screen, and it's an icon. But when I click on that icon to fire it up, you get what looks like an application. It's got buttons on it. It scrolls up and down if there's more buttons than there are in the screen. And you can see here what I have are pieces of functionality. I got go to the website. I got order stuff online, join the loyalty program, surveys, preferences, and profile. So I've got all of this awesome button functionality in an application that actually is a web page, but it's wrapped. You can't tell that you're in a web browser. It doesn't say Safari. It doesn't say Chrome. And so all of this ability, all this power is attached to the button. And this is, Kevin, where we've found successful loyalty programs. We've been trying to do loyalty programs for partners forever. And before we had a loyalty application, we had thermal paper, and it was at the bottom of a guest check, and it was, write in your name and write in your email address. And we got bad information. We had restaurant managers that weren't data entry people and had no interest in entering it. And so it basically became a disaster. If anybody on this webinar goes to deerfieldsbakery.com, we'll give them a shout out. This business has 3 locations. We've set up the fields for somebody to go in and register for the application. And what's cool about this is you're going to get the 4 most important pieces of data. They autofill in from the phone if you're using a browser like Chrome. But we're going to get first name, last name, mobile phone number, and email address. And then once you put that in, we can collect more data. Typically, you hit next, and we get birth date, anniversary date. We can get preferences. And so we're digitally entering people into the system where they now get their rewards. So I'm going to step back, and I'm going to show you on the buttons of this a very beautiful web application we built for them. You can see because it has loyalty program up here. When I type on loyalty program, it takes me to the sign-in screen. It remembers my information. So all I have to do is hit login. And then it says, welcome back, Lance Bell. And then I have at the top, view rewards. And I can go right into the web application. Right now it's querying our cloud servers, and it's bringing back how many rewards have I earned, how many, all my transactions, everything is right here on the screen in a beautiful full color layout, along with all types of other information. Additionally, push notifications. We hate email marketing. We as users can barely tolerate text message marketing. That's kind of an intimate thing still, is text messages. And so having push notifications like your phone vibrating and Facebook telling you have friends that have a birthday today, we have the same thing. As a business operator, you could take your phone, go to enterprise.servingintel.com, log in, and go to push notifications. You can take a picture of the drink of the day. And then you can say, hey, everybody, come in and get a free margarita with the purchase of 3 tacos, whatever deal you want to hit. You hit send. Everybody in the world who has downloaded your application, their phones vibrate, and they get to salivate at the picture that you've put out of your margarita special of the day. And so that is the loyalty piece of this. Now it ties back, ton of power, and that is the entire solution that we are proudly have labeled or named eGuest. 3 minutes left. Woo! Let's do some more questions.
Excellent. I got another question here for you, Lance.
Keep it coming.
So this is another one coming in from Anonymous, probably a follow-up. So is there a time commitment for the monthly fee? For example, if I use the product for 6 months and decide that the cost outweighs the benefit, can I cancel the monthly service fee and discontinue service?
eGuest is our proposed platform. You get everything. We have partners that just do pieces of it. And so you're not required to do all 3 of the solutions. The service fee is broken out based on the individual of the 3 solutions. And so if you do this and decide, if I were to give up something, if I don't want to manage e-commerce, I'm probably going to do eConnect. If I don't want to give away any money to the third parties, or we got partners in Montana where there is no eConnect, there is no Grubhub that's doing delivery for them. They do their own delivery. So we have partners in Montana that only do e-commerce. So you can pick and patch, and the service fee is obviously tied to the solution. But yeah, there's a lot of flexibility. Our service fees for nearly everything we do is month to month. We just ask if you turn anything off, you give us a 30-day commitment on turning it off.